Heidi ho, everybody. Can you see me? I can see the chat now. I am so sorry. Please bear with this old girl trying to learn new stuff. So I apologize. There is a strange link and correlation in trying to get StreamYard and YouTube to talk to each other. So I'm still learning with all of this. So I appreciate your patience, and I'm so happy you're here for our first Wine and Crime Wednesday. I am saying wine and crime. The H is in parentheses because for myself today, originally I intended on having a nice glass of Moscato tonight. I am in no way encouraging drinking. I am not a big drinker myself. Instead, I am hydrating with a lot of water tonight because I'm feeling a little parched. So tell me what you're drinking. Especially if it's a wine of some kind, I'd love to know what you're drinking, or if it's water, or what's that one that hydrates a lot? Liquid Death. That's a good one too. We are going to talk about Adelson. Anybody else ready to talk about Adelson? I got some notes I'm going to keep referring to so we don't miss anything. Diet Coke. Hey, I am a Dr. Pepper Zero lover, so I completely understand having to have the carbonation and caffeine. I'm not a coffee drinker, so caffeine I get from soda. Pinot Grigio, that's what everybody tries to get me to drink because it is supposed to be a sweeter drink, but because I only like sweet stuff. I can't do the bitter, dry. That's not going to work for Janet. So I am going to see if I can look at that. It's like I'm a real live streamer. Who knew at this age that I could learn anything new? Okay, let's get into some details. I know a lot of people were asking if I was going to do any sort of breakdown from my visit in court on Friday. Also, before I go too much further, can everyone hear me okay? I just want to make sure I do all the appropriate tests before we get into the good stuff. And I don't know if there are people still waiting on the other stream to let them know that they need to start this new one. I'm not sure. Awesome. Thank you for letting me know you can hear me. I can hear myself back. So one of the first things I want to talk about, Ryan Ruth is the individual who attempted to assassinate President Trump on his golf course. That trial is starting on the 8th, which is Monday. Here's the deal, and here's the problem. It's a federal case, so there isn't going to be any courtroom insider information. There isn't going to be regular updates. It's going to be one of those things I'll do like a daily update as to what I can find out so y'all don't have to scour through newspapers. Yeah, because so many people use newspapers. I mean, internet articles to find out what is going on with that. I have recently seen that he is intending on representing himself. Y'all, if I could be a fly on the wall in that courtroom with that going on, I wish it wasn't a federal case. Oh, I so wish it wasn't a federal case because there would be some absolute entertainment on my part. I would thoroughly enjoy it. So that's one of the first things I wanted to make sure that I covered. I know I have it on my docket. For those of you that don't know, that haven't been following me for a long time, I mean, I haven't really been doing anything for a long time, but every Sunday I have been posting kind of the upcoming dates, important dates. If I have live streams that I'm going to be doing with other content creators, I put that on there. And then, of course, any hearings, any court dates, trial dates, anything like that. So make sure that you follow that. I try to remember to post it over on YouTube as well. So it will be available there. Girl, no truer words. No truer words. I did not even watch all of the Daryl Brooks case. I just caught it every now and then. And let me just tell you, that was a whole entire, as the friends of Karen Reed would say, an episode. It was an episode for sure. So I wanted to make sure that we talked about that. I am going to skip my Barry Morphew update. We'll talk about that later in the live stream. There's a timeline that I want to pull up for everybody to see. Yes, I love how strong Nurse Kim is. My kind of woman. I love it. And we need more. Okay. Something else on the docket that is going to be coming up. Courtney Clenny. Do y'all know who Courtney Clenny is? This trial is going to start December 1st. I'm fairly certain it will be, excuse me, told you I needed to hydrate. Okay. She is the OnlyFans celebrity who stabbed her boyfriend to death in her condo in Florida. I want to say it was Miami area. I'm not entirely sure where that was specifically, but I know it was in southern Florida in what I call the peninsula. That should be a very interesting case to watch. I'm curious to know what type of defense she puts up. I think, yes, Crime Zombie. I think that there's going to be a lot of body cam footage, and there was so much blood. Oh my goodness, there was so much blood. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be following that one. And let's see, what else do I have? I haven't forgotten about the Amy Adler deep dive. I did a little bit of research from what we talked about last week. She seems like she's an absolutely delightful woman. She didn't deserve to get caught up in this. And I didn't realize Wendy Adelson was searching her name around the time of Dan Markel's death. That's creepy. That is creepy. I don't understand why you would need to do that if you'd moved on and everything's hunky dory. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So since we're talking about Wendy, right? What? Yes. I'm not lying. Yes. She, it was in some sort of search warrant, and that's how Amy Adler's name kind of got pulled into it. And initially is because there were searches that Wendy had done. And I was shocked when I heard that. So now let's talk about my day in court on Friday. So I know y'all want to hear about the jailhouse snitches and what the jury may have looked like when that testimony was coming in. But before we get to the snitches, we got to talk about that phone call. That phone call that they thought they hung up, but they were all chatting away, thinking that they were just in the privacy of their condominium. That jury, when that testimony came in, did not move. I dare say if a fan was on in the room, they were so still, even their hair wouldn't have moved. It was that riveting, the testimony was. And to see Donna's face when that was going on, y'all, it was like she had to kind of know that this is really, really, really bad. Yeah. A lot of planning going on. Oh, we're not fleeing, though. We're just checking non-extradition countries. But what? Why would we be doing that? It's all good. Don't need to worry about that. Hello, hello, Max's mom. Welcome to the chat. So that was one of the first things that happened on Friday. That kind of set the tone for the rest of the day. It kind of was one thing after another. It was kind of like Donna was in the ring going about 6 or 7 rounds with Mike Tyson. It was not good for her. And yes, you are correct, Dallas Alice. All because of $4.50. Yep. That's what did it. So that was super interesting. There was no note-taking happening during that entire recording being played in the courtroom. And then later in the day, we had the first jailhouse partner. What do you call? It's not cellmates, because they were like in these weird pod things or something. So I don't even know what you call it. Sector mate? The first one, Ms. Bird, she was the first one to come on the witness stand. And I'll be honest, initially her testimony seemed credible. I was like, cool. Then there was some cross-examination that made it seem a little bit shakier. And so I wasn't entirely sure about all that. And then the second, what did I call it? Sector mate came in. And she was very, very, very believable to me. I mean, the timing of things, and y'all can tell me if I'm way off base with this, but I felt like the fact that she really didn't have anything to gain by testifying, first off. That window of opportunity for her to get any sort of benefit, that passed. And so I thought that was a very, very compelling as far as her credibility. And sure, throughout her entire testimony, we could look and say, hey, I think maybe this particular individual is not telling the truth about this script that was written, and it was probably just Drina, that's the sector mate's name, writing it. But you could see the similarities in the handwriting from other things that we had already seen as in evidence in the trial. And then the handwriting expert came in, and the handwriting expert kind of eliminated any doubt. You could see a lot of rubbernecking. The way it was put up on the screens in the courtroom, you definitely could tell they were following intently, and it was obvious. I don't know what was seen at home, but it was obvious in the courtroom. That was the same handwriting. There's no question about it being the same handwriting. And you could see the jury kind of, and I was loving it. And Dallas Alice, I absolutely believe Drina. And you know, yes, she's been incarcerated 27 times. I understand that addiction is a horrible disease. And I truly believe a lot of the addiction issues we have in our society are due to the fact that this is self-medicating for mental health issues. And I don't fault her for that. And it's hard once you have fallen into that particular environment, it's hard to get out. So I don't fault her. My heart kind of broke a little bit for her while she was on the witness stand and testifying, because she looks like she's genuinely a good person and has just gotten tied up in a world that she really never intended on being in and shouldn't. Yes, it wasn't her first time to snitch either, Heidi. You're absolutely right. I have heard that that's they kind of called her a professional snitcher. So that all of that testimony was fantastic. And also, Dallas, you're right. Addiction can't make your signature match another person's signature or their handwriting. And it was very, very obvious the handwriting matched. It was interesting to me when we broke for lunch. Of course, I stayed in the courthouse. There's a little cafeteria there, deli, whatever you want to call it. It's called Tony's. It's fantastic. The guy's, it's a one-man show. He takes the orders, has you paid. I mean, he does everything. Poor guy. I hope he gets paid well, because he's working his tail off every lunchtime. Excuse me. And so, yes, don't take my sunshine away. Yeah, that was like creepy that she was calling Drina her sunshine. I had forgotten about that until you just put that in there. Ugh, I agree. Yucca. So anyway, the jurors go into the deli for, not all of them. Some of them, I'm sure, brought their lunch or they went elsewhere close to the courthouse. But there were several jurors that were together in the deli eating lunch. And of course, you don't approach them or anything because they're jurors, and you just leave them alone. But it was interesting to me that I saw these two ladies that I would not have anticipated being chatty with each other, were together. And I mean, just out on the patio area. And I thought, well, that's awesome. You know, it was actually the note taker. I think you all have heard me talk about the note taker before. The note taker, and then there's a lady on the jury that wears a mask all the time. It was those two ladies that were together. And then there were two other gentlemen that I completely would never have put the two of them together, because there seemed to be to me, it looked like a relatively large age difference. But they were together also and chatting away in the deli, in the little area where you eat. And then another juror, the poor thing, she was working. I could hear her on her computer laptop, and she's talking to people. I thought, oh, you poor woman. And she's the one that I see bundled up in the courtroom all the time. She has like a winter coat that she wears. It was freezing in there on Friday. Absolutely freezing. And I didn't get on the naughty list, but I did get caught during a live stream at lunchtime. So yeah, that was like a thing. I was in the hall, and I was on Crime Junkie Jury with Brandy Churchwell, and we were having a nice little chat. And Madam Bailiff came out the door, and she kind of told me I needed to move. There are people working in these offices. And I was like, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. And then I went someplace else. Let's see what questions you have here. Dallas Alice says, does Harvey always have that downturned mouth look on? Does he ever show any type of emotion? I haven't seen any. I haven't seen happiness. I haven't seen sadness. I haven't seen him tear up. I haven't seen anger. I haven't seen any emotion at all. He's been completely perfectly flat. And yes, that little frown thing that happens the whole time that he's on. I mean, it never changes. Yes, I was live on my cell. Um, hello, it's just Karis. Thanks for coming in. I know that Nurse Kim has a live that is starting at in just about an hour. So I'll make sure we're all wrapped up before that, so y'all can hang out with Nurse Kim at her house too. So, but yes, lots of note taking, but from Harvey and no emotion whatsoever. Are you asking if I think Harvey helped with the whole scheme of things, Jay Cornish? If that is the question, yeah. I think Harvey knew way more than we have ever thought that he knew. And I'm not so sure he's the big chooch that I always thought he was. So, yeah, I absolutely believe he had his hands in it. And Sheila, girl, testify with this. I totally think Donna is guilty, but her defense team is horrible. Sometimes they didn't look like they were even trying. So today was a whole thing. Did y'all watch today? Yeah, we had this. Who was snickering in the gallery? I don't know. And I can tell you the times that I was in the courtroom, that crap didn't happen. So I don't know what may have transpired in the meantime, but no. Madam Bailiff that caught me in the hall, she would straighten that crap out. I can tell you that right now. I saw another question here. I wanted to make sure an answer to this question. Not yet. I am, of course, in the midst of trying to get myself packed because my flight leaves at 6:30 a.m. tomorrow morning to go to CrimeCon. So I haven't watched it yet. I am intending on watching that while I am either in flight or waiting for my flight. So I'll get caught up on that. Sarah Ellen, I'm so glad that Nurse Kim had me on too. I can't wait to go back and visit her house again. Maybe after CrimeCon next week, we can maybe, instead of me doing Wine and Crime Wednesday, I can head over to her house and we can have a sip or two with her. Let's see. There was another question. I'm trying to catch it here. Okay, so everybody, you agreed, you did watch today. What in the blue blazes was happening with them trying to get an answer out of Donna on whether she was going to testify or not? What on earth? That was like, again, like everything with this defense, they're like, oh, we need to cross-examine. Oh, holy smokes. Give us just a moment. That's how this was too. Like you didn't know you were going to have to make a decision like pretty doggone soon, whether you were going to get your bahunkus up on that witness stand and start spewing some stuff. Girl. I was a little speechless with it. And then when she did finally answer the question, it was, at this time, I don't want to testify. What's the at this time? Do you think you're going to get, like this is a mulligan and you're going to get another go at it? What in the world? And yes, y'all know I have a mad crush on Judge Everett. I love Judge Everett. He puts up with nothing in his courtroom. And he was like, all right, come on. I'll give you 2 more minutes. I'll give you 5 more minutes. And then that's it. Yeah. Judge, another few minutes, please. You're absolutely right, Ava. And yes. And why? Woman, we know you can project. I know you've got some good theater oomph in you. You can project. Oh no, we're going to talk like this, like we can hear anything we're saying. Woman. Mm-mm. And the thing about the attorneys is, I think Zellman is probably a fairly good attorney. I'm not so sure about Fulford. I gotta be honest. I don't know what has happened to her. I don't know if she was always like this in a courtroom. It was something. Yes. Yes. And y'all don't see this? Oh, another little courthouse tidbit. She wears cowboy boots. She wears cowboy boots that are all beat up and nicked up with those oversized suits that look like she took them out of an 81-year-old man's closet to wear. What are we doing? She's a whole thing, y'all, and it doesn't get better in person. It does not get better in person. I couldn't believe the one day, Friday, I kind of turned and looked and was like, are those cowboy boots? In fact, I had this nice lady sitting next to me, and I asked her, I'm like, is she wearing cowboy boots? Because those look like cowboy boots. And she looked and she goes, mm-hmm. And I was like, there you go. So that kind of, if y'all have questions, more specific questions, I feel like I kind of gave a pretty good idea of what happened in court on Friday. I'm sure I'm forgetting things. Yes. So a lot of people asked about this, and I was trying to give updates as to what was going on. There was like this weird technical issues. They were trying to get a bunch of technology connected and hooked up. And I know everybody thought it had something to do with Attorney Fulford. I did not see anything, nor did I hear anything in the courthouse that would lead me to believe that any of that is true. If it is true, I sure never found out about it myself either. And imagine if, so the delay was because of the technology. There was a small little sidebar that I think they had to address some things. Oh, well, let's see what else. Yes. Imagine if Judge Cannoni got pressured off the bench for misconduct and ended up in Jackie's position. Which would you rather have represent you? Honestly, I would have old Auntie Bev. She at least seems like she's somewhat with it and can pay attention. I'm not so sure Jackie Fulford looks lost. She just gets angry. It's a whole thing. I don't think I know the answer to this question. Did you see Charlie enjoying his Wendy's fast food? I don't think I know what we're referencing, but I can tell you I never saw Charlie, period. So are we all ready to talk about some Barry Morphew now, or do we need to stay on the Adelson train for a little bit longer? Y'all let me know what you want to talk about, and I'm happy to oblige. I'm going to find my timeline that I want us to go over. I don't think I saw this. How did I miss this? Oh, this cracks me up. Charlie eating Wendy's was crazy. He ate those nuggets so fast. Like he'd never had them before, maybe. Maybe they don't serve those down in Miami Beach. So Barry Morphew. There was a status hearing. I can always come back to Adelson if y'all have more questions. So I'm trying to keep an eye on the chat to make sure we get everybody taken care of. Oh, when he was being transported to Florida from it's South Dakota. Isn't that where he's hanging out now? Isn't that what he calls home? Is South Dakota? Um, yeah, I have not seen that. I'll have to do some digging because that would make me giggle, and I'm all about a good giggle. So I'm gonna try to get this pulled up here for us to review. Bear with me while I try to add what we're talking. Look at that. It's there. It's not very big. I don't know if I can make it any bigger. Let's do this. You don't need to see me, so let's go to the timeline here. Timeline. Why is it not changing what I'm doing? Y'all. Let's try this again. Well, it is just not going to cooperate here. Bear with me. And okay. Sorry about that. It's a learning curve here. I'm not sure I'm going to, oh yeah, it is going to let me. Okay. So if you don't know anything about this case, I can at least tell you what happened in the status hearing yesterday is that his original bond was a $3 million cash bond. They changed it yesterday. The judge did modify it, and she modified it to a $3 million cash surety property bond. So what that means is Barry Morphew can put up a piece of property that is worth $300,000 in concert with a bail bondsman, and he gets out. I believe she also put him on house arrest, and he would have an ankle monitor. I mean, I don't know how much we believe that actually works or not. So that's kind of the status now. I haven't checked today because I was in Adelson land whether he was released into, with a bond at this point. And knowing nothing about this case, oh, Max's mom, are you in for a show? So we're going to go back to 2018. Let's go back in time. Barry and Suzanne Morphew purchased their home in Salida, California for $1.575 million. They moved to Colorado from Indiana. Suzanne drives daughter to Gunnison, Colorado to meet up with her sister for a planned road trip. Their daughter is the only other occupant of their home. That's on May 5th in 2020. The next thing is May 6th. Calls and texts by Suzanne to Barry. I'm done. Sorry about that. I could care less what you were up to and have been for years. We just need to figure this out civilly. This text was deleted from Barry's phone. And the disappearance sequence begins on the 9th of May. This was, right before Mother's Day, if I'm remembering correctly. Last known communication by Suzanne was to an old high school flame It's believed that Barry found out that she had been having an affair, which I truly believe is unbelievable motive. Um, Barry's cell phone and data location shows that he returned back home at 2:43 p.m. on that same day. So if we go back here, 2:11 is the last time we know about anything from Miss Suzanne. And then 2:43, it shows that he's back at the home. It does not show his truck leaving the residence. Then all of a sudden at 2:47, Barry's phone goes into airplane mode. How odd. Isn't that suspicious? I think that's suspicious. Then there's truck movement at 9:30 p.m. The truck is backing toward the house, and lots of activities were logged from 2:47 to 9:52. I don't know the specifics, but there was a lot of movement, lots of steps, a lot going on. And then at 4:32, I'm sorry, from 3:25 a.m. to 3:57 a.m., like who is up wandering about at that time? More movement, more steps and events logged when he said he was sleeping. Sure. Okay. We're picking up what you're laying down, Barry. No, we're not. Cell phone data all of a sudden at 4:32 a.m. shuts off. No more cell phone data. And then at 1 minute after that, Suzanne's cell phone data ceases to connect to anything. At 5 a.m., Barry leaves for work. He states that he left to head to Broomfield, which is a 3-hour drive. And then all of a sudden, 37 minutes later, his phone turns back on. Another oddity. This is almost as odd as so many butt dials. He should have arrived by 8 a.m. in Broomfield. And it does confirm that he was in Broomfield at least at 8:10 a.m. At 11:18 a.m., Barry calls an employee because he was supposed to leave with 2 employees at 10 p.m. that evening. And he tells them he'd already left. Deuces, I'm heading on my trip. I'm good. Then we see video evidence of Barry discarding items in a trash can at 12:34 p.m. until 5:55 p.m. I think that might be, yeah, I'm sorry, 5:55 p.m. We see him in the hotel. There's a lot of camera footage of him entering and exiting the hotel that he was staying at. At 5 p.m., Barry gets a call from his neighbor. Neighbor calls Barry to tell him that his daughter is concerned because they can't reach Suzanne. After being advised to check for her bike, which is missing, Barry tells neighbor to call the sheriff. Barry tells the police he received a call around 5 p.m. on May 10th, 2020 from his neighbors while physically at the Broomfield job site. Hotel cameras show Barry is in his hotel room, not at the job site. Then Suzanne is finally reported missing. Her bike is found later that same day. And then Sunday evening, Barry's going to a job, but doesn't have his tools. He met with his employee that Sunday evening. The employee noted that Barry did not bring the paperwork or tools with him. So he took off without telling or meeting them like he said he would. And now he doesn't have any of the crap with him he's supposed to have. This is going fantastically, Barry. Good job. And then the search starts on May 11th. May 14th, they did find Suzanne's bike helmet. And That was all they could find. There was tons of searching. It was along the route that she would normally take if she were going to be taking her bike. The bike, the way that it was found, it doesn't say this in here, but the way the bike was found, it appeared like someone had tossed it, not like someone had actually, hit it or that she ran into any trouble. Sorry, got to wet my whistle. So, finally, in September of 2023, Suzanne's remains were found in a shallow grave in, y'all, I can't say that, Sagatche County, Colorado, a few hundred feet down a dirt road off Highway 17. This location was less than an hour south of the Morphew residence by main highways. So that is where we are standing on the Morphew case. Are y'all interested now? I think that Barry may have some issues. Max's mom, am I putting you to sleep? Oh no, I don't want to put anybody to sleep. Yeah, please let me know if you're interested in continuing with this case. The daughters, this is like a side note. Oh, sad face. Okay. After I looked at it a second time, I got old eyes. So sometimes, things don't look the way they're supposed to. The daughters, there are two daughters. They're beautiful and they seem lovely. They are completely in support of their father. They're standing behind him. They vehemently deny that their father had anything whatsoever to do with their mother's death. I don't understand it. I think he looks pretty doggone guilty, but this feels a lot like other cases that there is technological data, there is GPS data. I know one of the key pieces of evidence is that when they did finally autopsy Suzanne's body, they did find some sort of chemical that is used in a specific type of tranquilizer type gun, and it's very, very difficult to get this particular type of chemical. You have to have some sort of license, in which Barry had. So it's very circumstantial. No one saw him do it. I'm fascinated. I've followed this since it started way back. What was that? Did I say 2018? 2020. 2020 is when she went missing. So 5 years ago. So yes, he kept saying that that's what he was doing. That's why he was moving all around, is he was chasing squirrels around the house. Seriously, dude. Sure. Yes, Sheila. I have concerns for his daughters. There's a part of me that feels there's a possibility they are staying supportive of him out of manipulation and possibly fear. There is some testimony, or there is some information available that Barry was not the kindest to Suzanne. And so I think there's going to be a lot of text message data that will be in this particular trial. And I'm excited to see all of that kind of play out. What did Barry do for a living? I believe he was a contractor of some kind. And I don't remember specifically. Well, here, hang on. Just a minute and I'll see what I can find out. Bear with me just a moment. I need to go back a screen. Let me see if it says here what his... Yeah, it's an animal tranquilizer commonly referred to, that it's a compound commonly referred to as BAM, to give you that kind of additional information. It does not say in this particular item what his livelihood was. Let me see if I can find something else. Landscaping business is what he had. He worked for a local construction firm. That's why I'm getting the your contractor bit here. When he lived in Indiana, I believe he operated a deer farming business, and that's where he was able to legally obtain the BAM. These cases make me think years ago, wives up and ran off and nobody questioned, and no crime junkies to check into these stories. Right? It pays to be nosy. Don't just sit there. Like, my husband wears me out about me being nosy. And I said, you know what? There have been a lot of times in our lives that it has worked out great for me being nosy. I've protected us. I've saved us from things. Awesome. Barry Morphew lived a secretive life in Cave Creek, Arizona, over 600 miles away from where his wife, Suzanne Morphew, went missing in Salida, Colorado. So one of the issues and why there is a lot of concern about a potential flight risk with him is because in between, he had been arrested one time before. I can't give you all of the specifics, but the basic story of it was prosecutorial misconduct was alleged, and the charges were then dismissed, and he was released. And this was before Suzanne's body was found that this all took place. So now you fast forward to now, and of course there is a body and there has been an autopsy and we have a lot more information. And so things look a little differently. In the meantime of the first arrest and him being arrested this time, he was all over the place. He lived in Arizona. He lived in Indiana. He lived in another portion or another part of Colorado. And there were times he lived under an assumed name. These are all concerning things as far as I'm concerned. I would be so concerned as a judge to be allowing someone like that back out into society, because I have concerns that he's going to flee. I really do. You're welcome, Heidi Cook Northrop. Glad I could provide some reading enjoyment for you. In Indiana, it says, I don't know for sure where he was hanging out in Indiana. I don't see anything that's jumping out at me. I'd have to do some more digging into that. Yeah, something's up. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. You know, Law 2 people have been the best, and I hope I get a larger following, because it is so delightful to talk to so many different people that have the same passion and interest that I have. So I appreciate everybody's support. I appreciate all of the good well wishes, and this goes out to you as well, Heidi. Thank you so much. So now that we know all of that, let me get back to my notes. Bear with me a moment. We talked about Courtney Clenny. Oh, so Morphew. They're thinking there will be a trial in the summer of 2026. The prosecution is trying to push for that, for an actual date to be scheduled, because They believe it's going to be at least a month-long trial, and so they want to get it on the docket in Colorado as quickly as possible. The next hearing in this case is November 3rd. I would expect that to be an additional status hearing. I also think there would be some discovery that they'll probably make sure that they're talking to each other about how things are coming along. That's typically what status hearings are about as it approaches a trial date. So I, for one, will be following again for that hearing date. I did watch the hearing yesterday that was held in Colorado in the bond hearing. Charges. Let's see. I know it's first degree, but let's see. Let's just look that up. The beauty of the internet. What in the world did I do before I had the internet? So, Barry Morphew faces first-degree murder charges in the death of his wife, Suzanne. The charges were initially dropped in April of 2022. But a grand jury indictment was returned in May of 2023. The indictment charges him with the murder of his wife, who was reported missing on Mother's Day. Y'all, could there be anything sadder than that? On Mother's Day. If I remember correctly, one was away at college and the other was in a family member's home or something like that. Her remains were found in September 2023 and the death was ruled a homicide. The indictment also includes evidence that Barry Morphew had a prescription for the sedatives used in her autopsy, which were found in her system. So, tell me what you think. I saw some people say here, oh my gosh. Yes, we had to go to the library. I was big encyclopedia girl. I was constantly looking at stuff. I wore my poor librarian out. Anybody follow Proctor, the Proctor appeal? I tried to watch the Proctor appeal hearing. Couldn't do it. I started to. Proctor's attorney, when he gave his opening statement, infuriated me. And I was like, I don't think I can do this. I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can watch this whole thing. And then there was a lot of, it was nice to see Alan Jackson roasting Michael Proctor a second time. Not going to lie about that. Yeah, there is no one to root for. I don't know if y'all tell me if you want me to continue to try to dig into it. I tried to get through like the entire first day and it just was more of the same. It looks to me like they had every reason under the sun to be able to terminate him. So I don't, it's not very compelling to me, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Other cases on the docket besides, let's talk about Adelson and the fact that she decided not to testify. And so now we're going to have closing arguments tomorrow and then the jury's going to get it. So y'all know I'm traveling tomorrow. I should be in Colorado by midday Colorado time, which is very close to, what is that? Eastern time from that. That's what, a 2-hour difference. So maybe early afternoon, mid-afternoon. Yes. And I can't remember what they called her. Commissioner. I think they called her a commissioner. Yes. The judge was amazing and kept tight controls. Proctor's attorney didn't like being told how to act from a woman. Oh, it's always so delightful when you have women in a position of power and you have men that have problems with that. Um, yes. I wanted her to testify too. And I think that her attorneys talked her out of it. How long do you all think it is going to take this jury to come back with a verdict? Do you think we're going to have a verdict tomorrow? Do you think it's going to take us all the way through Friday? Do you think we're going to have to wait until Monday? Shoot, if I knew how to do a dadgum poll in here, I will know how to do that the next time we all meet. The next time we'll be able to do a poll. I know I saw it on here. There's only so much brain power. 1 hour, Friday. Let me look and see. I feel like there might be a way I could do. If y'all will bear with me, I'll try to figure out how to do a poll, or a bowl, whichever. I know I saw it in here. Yeah, I got nothing for you. Well, here's the problem. I'm in StreamYard. So, because StreamYard looked a whole lot easier to maneuver around in than YouTube. Charlie was 3, so you think Donna 2. So we should have a verdict by close of business tomorrow. Verdict on Friday. Charlie's was less than 3 hours. I feel like this jury is kind of very much paying attention. And there are a couple I think have already checked out. If you watched me last night on Justice Served TV, Michael Bryant was ironically in the courtroom the opposite days that I was in the courtroom. And so he noticed the same thing, that there were a couple jurors that just were arms crossed and like, I'm done. I got this all figured out. So, yeah, I'm trying to get everybody's comments in here. Thursday, verdict, Friday. 5 hours of deliberation. And will Wendy be next? What do you all think? I think Wendy's next. I think Harvey and Wendy are in the hot seat. Yeah, Florida juries do tend to come back quick. I don't know if you watched the ballerina trial. I can't remember what they called that. That one, they didn't linger for forever and ever and ever. They came back with a verdict pretty quickly on that. Ashley Benefield, I think was her name. And they called it some sort of, because she was a ballet dancer, they called it the ballerina trial or something like that. Harvey, then Wendy, then Harvey. The Black Swan. That's what it was called. Hey, at least I remembered her name, Ashley Benefield. That's something. I hope I can at least be available when the verdict comes in. I don't know that I can go live and kind of do what we're doing now, because of course I'm not going to have any of this set up with me. I'm not even taking a laptop. So it's, cell phone or nothing. So yeah, fingers crossed that I can at least see it when it happens and I won't be stuck on a plane or something. The daughter, oh my gosh, the daughter in the Ashley Benefield trial was devastating to see how impacted she was by that. Max's mom, you disagreed with the jury in the Ashley Benefield trial? I need to know about this. I love when someone has an opposing opinion. I want to know more. Yes, I am hoping to have a great time in Denver. And you are correct, or I am correct that you did disagree with the jury. You felt, honestly, in that case, I could see where it could go either way. I'm a gun owner, and so feel like I have a slightly different perspective on it. And so I think that played into why I felt that she did intentionally do that. So I don't want to keep you. Really? Melanie Little was strongly on Ashley's side? Wow, that's surprising to me. Yeah, I mean, I was kind of like, either way, she took a man's life, whether it was intentional, multiple shots, that was an issue for me. So yeah. Well, I don't want to keep anybody from Nurse Kim tonight because I know I have a whopping 27 viewers in here right now, but I hope you'll continue to follow my content. I am intending on doing Taco About It Tuesdays and Wine and Crime Wednesdays. Yes, I have every intention of getting with other content creators. And I have some other things in the works. So yes, I'm hoping to get more exposure. Please tell your friends, tell your neighbors, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, all that stuff. Y'all know. So I just want to make sure everybody has a chance to have their say since we have so few in here. I'm sorry. The thing that got me about it was the uncontested testimony that he punched their German Shepherd into unconsciousness for jumping in his lap. I know. There was a lot of very strange testimony that you really couldn't tell who the good guy and the bad guy was in it. But I am going to release you all from the wine and crime. I feel like I did whining myself tonight because I'm sad that Donna did not indeed testify. Please make sure to find someone or something kind to do, since it does not cost a penny to be kind to anyone. And as always, make good choices, and I'll see you next time.